Hello dear chess friends, welcome to our new video. Here we will again comment the game from Dubai, from World Championship match. Magnus Carlsen played this time with white pieces against NepomniachtchI, and that's game number 2. Magnus maybe a bit strangely opened the game with d4, when knight f6, c4, Jan goes for his usual weapon. Well, after knight e3 he goes for d5, accepting Catalan setup for white. Of course, other options are b6, bishop b4, etc. After d5, g3. Now we get Catalan, normal Catalan on the board. Bishop e7, bishop g2, and after castling, Jan went for the safest move, d takes c4, which leads to let's say easy play for black, where he exactly knows what to do. After queen c2, other move will be knight e5, but okay, Magnus preferred queen c2. There was b5. It looks strange, it looks too brave, it looks too optimistic because of opening that diagonal, but still there is nothing special. After knight e5, black just has called knight d5 in any moment. So a4 and knight c6, not of course, but c6, yeah. So that would be played. After knight e5, black still played for c6, not knight e5, and after a4, now knight d5. Okay, nothing special happens, nothing special changes. White can deviate, black can deviate, but we will probably get that position after different move orders. Knight c3. White asks black to get a decision about b5 pawn, but still black delays action and goes for normal move f6, removing that white knight from the center. And after that, instead of some normal moves like knight a6 or b4, he plays calm queen d7, improving development and waiting for white to get action. Instead of rook d1, white decided to go for e4, another good move, and normal continuation was knight b4, queen e2, and knight d3. Game goes sharp, and looks like white must open his light square bishop to get some tactical motives and to get strong compensation for a pawn. So d5, and naturally looking f5 can be met with strong continuation, a, b, c, b, and d5, where after ed, white can remove that knight with huge impact. Knight d4 with very unclear position. White attacks 2 pawns, and looks like white has more than counterplay here. After move e5, black played bishop b7, ef6, bishop f6, all that is normal, and knight e4. What's the idea of knight e4? Well, maybe to weaken black pawn shield if black would be forced to take in some moment with a pawn, or maybe to jump there on c5, or maybe, if you'll see later, to target square d6. What happened later? Let's see. Knight a6, knight e5. White goes bravely for that jump, although that looks normal. Still, that is still a brave option. Maybe more common will be just bishop d2, with idea maybe in some moment to, after bishop c3, to cement the center. But okay, let's see what happened. In the game, knight e5 was played, bishop e5, black normally takes with the bishop, keeping knight on ultimately active spot on d3, de, and knight c5. That is better than suggested by former world champion Anand b4, which was widely analyzed with him by him. Okay, knight d6 here, and white looks better. Knight a c5. So black wants to support one knight with another knight, and now that cavalry, that black cavalry, really looks so impressive. After knight d6, there is knight b3, and Magnus decided maybe too optimistically to give up an exchange after that move. Instead of rook b1, maybe some computer move can be played, bishop a3, and after knight a1, rook takes e1, where black has two solid options, more active ba, or more stable and more common a6, but still in both cases white has some compensation for sacrificed exchange and the pawn. Well, namely with bishop e4, he can try to organize some attack on the king side with queen to h5. Okay, now let's go back with the game. Magnus played rook b1, black normally took, black accepted challenge, and here rook a b8 was played. As we can see here, definitely it looks like white doesn't have enough from the compensation. There is some compensation, but still black must be preferred here because there is nothing apparent for white in that position. Rook d1, okay, setting some tactical threats, and bishop a8. I don't like that move because that looks too slow. I would rather vote for ba4, where black maybe can go even for bishop a6 and then to use that open file, or maybe for passive move bishop c8 to defend e6 if necessary in the future. Bishop a8, okay, bishop e4, and now the main reason black lost advantage is c3. I don't know what the idea was, but I can just suppose that after b takes c3, black wanted to play ba4 to get compensation with that open file for a rook and to invade maybe in some moment first or the second rank. Anyway, Magnus went for queen c2, targeting h7, and now the question is h6 or g6, maybe even g5. Bravely and risky move can come to mind. It should be analyzed, and I think g6 is the most natural looking move, but still I think there must be something better, maybe exactly g5. You'll see that white will be later able to use some dark squares on the king side. For instance, g5 would be played to stop that maneuver in some moment. Okay, never mind, let's go for the game. g6, where after b takes c3, b takes a4, queen a4, and rook fd8. Once again, that looks not normal. I'm curious about rook b6 possibility, with maybe immediately going for that counterplay with rook b8, but still that looks like not so dangerous for white because b1 square is controlled by bishop e4. Okay, rook fd8. Black maybe has some hidden idea of giving exchange back to exchange rook for knight and e5 pawn. Let's see what will happen. Rook a1. Strangely, Magnus plays on the queen side instead of playing on the king side, maybe with h4, which can be met, of course, with c5. That's why white wanted first to take a pawn, which can be very important resource for black, very important weapon, and very dangerous in any deep endgame. c5 and queen c4. White just invites black to take first on e4, keeping queens on the board. Black takes, okay, good, bishop is eliminated, but now knight threatens to jump to dangerous f5 spot. King h8, normal move, and Magnus moves knight back to cement the file. Now everything is stable. Rook b6, and after queen c5, rook db8. All that looks normal. Black wants to play rook b1 and king g2. Of course, naturally, he who has a safer king should keep piece material on the board. White has safer king, and that's why Carlsen decided to keep rooks on the board. But this time a6, king to h3, solid prophylaxis, not needed but still solid. And rook c6, black wants to kick white queen further from that knight, maybe to be able to take it. King g8, avoiding some annoying checks. c4, queen c7, targeting both knight and c4 pawn, wanting to stop that. White knight on d6 practically gives white comfortable play where white risks nothing. Simply that knight is protected by e5 pawn, it protects c4 pawn, pawn a6 is very well blocked and stopped, and black must take care about white initiative on the king side. Maybe white can in some moment move the king with h4, h5, and maybe that would be the solution. Maybe king g2 here would be the best. But queen g4 was played, targeting g4, and that gave black chance to simplify. Perhaps Magnus felt there is nothing he can do with direct attack on the king side, but still that was his chance maybe to play with king g2. After queen g4, black has solid and reasonable possibility to simplify and to get the most probably drawish endgame. White played c5, that definitely simplifies position, and we definitely can be sure that Magnus decided here to force draw just to save energy. I do not know about their energetic levels. In Dubai now should be very comfortable weather and very nice weather conditions, but not warm at all. But still, I do not know about Magnus conditions. Simply, he wanted, without special reason in that game, to simplify with c5. And after queen c5, queen e6, okay, maybe he hoped to get some chances to win, but after rook f8, black prepares queen f5, which would be now so risky because black doesn't want to separate his pawns. So after rook a6, rook f8, looks like white cannot prevent exchanging the queens. f2 is under attack. If king g2, black takes. So here, of course, black must not take, because after queen e5 he will lose the rook and lose the game. Rook f8, very stable move, very important. There is no check available for white. There is not queen e5, there is not rook a7, and white must allow black to exchange queens, which happened after f4, queen f5, and taking with a rook. White tried his best chance, that is to set rook on e7 and d5 to close fifth rank, but Jan just calmly defended with rook a7, h4, and h5. That is very well known method. White wants to create passed pawn, but this time black didn't want to take. Taking would be bad, but even that should be drawish. Just king h6 call move will give black draw after king h4. Now king is safe, and rook a1 with checks from behind. With checks from behind, g4, now check, and black takes. Of course, last chance for white is to play this and that, but after that black just holds position, attacking pawn f4 and delivering checks. Simply white king cannot escape, and that was draw. So looks like Magnus definitely, because of he forced that drawish endgame, despite he went to endgame with extra pawn, he forced that drawish endgame. That must say to us that he was satisfied with the draw, and that must say that Jan deserved maybe more than a draw. But okay, tomorrow is new day, tomorrow is new game, and let's see what will happen. We definitely have the pleasure to enjoy that match, which is much more interesting than last match Magnus played against Fabiano Caruana 3 years ago. So we hope there will be a lot of fireworks here in the match. Stay with us. Thanks for following us. We are here to make fun for you and to teach you, and see you soon with new presentation of game from Dubai. See you again. Bye bye.